Who are the top running backs walking into 2023, and what does that say about their finishes in 2022? And what's it say about their dynasty value? Let's break it all down right now.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Take a lap.
Now, you're going to notice some of the most popular faces on screen right now, guys that are going to be in most people's top 5 running backs for 2023 and beyond. But I'm going to tell you right now, this guy right here on the bottom of the screen is Bijan Robinson. And in redraft frame of mind, he's going to be a top 5 running back. He's going to be a top 5 running back. Now, people are going to have a tough time with this one. And I get touted a lot as a guy that loves rookie running backs. And I think it's been warranted this year to have loved Breece Hall and to love Kenneth Walker. But this guy is extra special, as is Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall. And I think he's going to be absolutely insane from the jump, no matter where he lands. Now, a very bad landing spot could alter my rankings. So for the keyboard Kelly out there that's going, Smitty, you don't even know where he's going to go. How can you have someone in your top 5 that hasn't taken an NFL snap yet, Smitty? Because I do it every year, bro. That's how I roll. And I go off my gut more than I go off anything else. And so I'm not going to sit here and look at my Excel spreadsheet, which says that he can't be ranked in the top 5 until he proves it. Why don't I just come out with a show? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Show, where we predict everything that happens when it happens, and we're essentially going to wait. We're going to wait until we know it's a fact, until we see him become a top 5 running back in redraft. Then we'll come out and announce that Bijan Robinson is a top 5 running back. This is not that show, pal. This is not that show. You're not that guy. This is the Fantasy Football Show. And I'm telling you right now, Bijan Robinson is a top 5 redraft running back in 2023, assuming he stays healthy, assuming he doesn't land in the worst spot known to man. And he's going to get drafted very high. He's going to go in round 1. Not a lot of running backs go in round 1 anymore. He will go in round 1, and any team that takes him will have a desperate need for an RB. So I don't think he finds himself in a cloudy timeshare. He's going to be in a very, very good spot. The question is, will the offense support him and allow him to score and get good yards per carry? Because this is a 5-yard per carry running back right here in Bijan Robinson. This is a 15 touchdown type of guy. This is a 10 to 15 touchdown running back, 5 yards a carry. This is Kenneth Walker meets like LaDainian Tomlinson in terms of style of play. And you can go, oh, he's talking big about another rookie running back. I think this man right here proves that he was the man. I think this guy right here proved he's the man. So let's calm down on the, rookie running backs can't do it. Yes, they can. And they will, Bob. Who's the number 1 running back in fantasy football 2023? If we're talking redraft, it's going to be Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker is the number 1 fantasy football running back walking into 2023 for me. You might have CMC there. You might have Eckler there. You might have a bunch of different players. JT's worthy of it. Barkley's worthy of it. There are a lot of players worthy of it. Some might still say Henry. I'm going to be off the Henry train completely. And maybe he did continue to do well longer than I expected. And I admit in the beginning of the year last year that I'm the kind of person that will jump a year early than a year late. And we still have some games to play as I'm recording this video entering week number 13. So Henry could stay healthy all year long. But it is a tall order beyond tall order to have Derrick Henry deliver yet again, in another season after the workload that he's endured. Henry's not in my top 5 running backs in 2023. And he's certainly not in anyone's top 10 running backs for Dynasty. But for redraft and for Dynasty, my number 1 overall player is Kenneth Walker. I would argue in Dynasty, maybe Bijan is my number 1 in Dynasty. But in redraft, he's not my number 2, but in Dynasty, he's easily 1 or 2, potentially. Now, in redraft 2023, I'm going to put JT at the 2 spot. Now, that's going to be a little controversial, I think, for some. And I get why. I understand why. I think the Colts improve over the offseason. I think JT's still very young. He's proving on the field right now that when healthy, with all the support, with the coaching staff, the good decision making, the good play calling, or better play calling, he is the same guy we thought he was walking into week number 1. He just needs a better offense. He needs to be able to move the chains more. He needs to be able to have some support stretching the field, not facing a lot of 8-man fronts all the time. He is the running back 2 or 3 at least. You could move move him down to 3, I'd understand that. But I think Walker and JT are very, very arguable here. I think you could put Eckler at number 3. I do have my concerns. In Dynasty, he's not in my top 5. In Dynasty, he is not in my top 5. And I know that's going to shock some people that don't play heavy Dynasty, but he's an older running back that has had massive volume. I'm going to put Bijan Robinson, I'm going to put him 3. I'm going to put him 3. I'm going to put him number 3 in 2023. In Dynasty, again, he might rank 1 or at least 2 in 2023 redraft. I think Bijan Robinson finishes as the number 3 or a top 5 running back. I think he's that good. He's that good. And we saw Breece Hall look like he was going to finish as potentially the RB1 had Breece Hall continued on his course of play. And he didn't even get unlocked for several weeks. It's not like he had the whole year to earn stats and compile all that monster production to be number 1. And he was going to be number 1. I think it's crazy. It's crazier to say that this can't happen than to say it can happen. So I don't want to hear it. Bijan Robinson, don't draft him number 3 if you don't have to. Obviously, you won't have to. But I'm trying to be predictive here. I'm trying to tell you what's going to go on. My number 3. I'll probably put, Barkley's still young enough for one more season. I'm going to say Barkley and Eckler are pretty close. Let's put it in redraft. We'll put Eckler here and Barkley here. In Dynasty, we would move Eckler well outside of the top 5. I'm sorry if that offends you, but he's going to be 28 years old walking into next season. Playing elite football at the age of 28 is very, very hard. At the volume that we're requesting for these guys that make you a top 5 fantasy football running back. So it is hard for me to put Eckler in the top 5 running backs. I think in redraft 2023, he's there, but it's really hard to put him there because of the fact that he's going to be 28 years old walking into next season. It used to be 30. Now it's no longer 30. Now 27 years old is your last run, your last go. You're lucky if you can go into 28 playing at an elite level. Maybe Eckler does. And that's why I have him lingering around here. I keep kind of moving him down, but I keep having him somewhere in the 3 to 7, 3 to 5, 3 to 4 for 2023. In Dynasty, he's not in my top 5. In Dynasty, he's down below. I'm not even considering him in my top 5. But in redraft 2023, he is right around this territory. Breece Hall is going to be in this conversation. It really depends on his recovery. If Breece Hall can have one of those, like, hey, he looks like he used to pre-injury already. It's amazing. His recovery is phenomenal. He's younger ACL recovering players will have a phenomenal recovery and jump back into form very quickly versus an older player. Even if you're like 25 versus 23, 22, it's a big difference for an ACL recovery and how smooth it can go. A lot of guys will tear ACLs in college. You'll never even know that. And you'll hear later, oh, he had a torn ACL back in college. You're like, wow, this guy's a phenomenal player. It's because it's not a big deal for a younger player these days, but it is when you're in their 23, 24, 25 range. So I think Breece Hall could arguably end up climbing all the way anywhere in this range for even 2023 redraft. I could see myself putting him number 2. I could see myself moving Barkley here. I could see myself going like this in 2023 redraft if all goes well for Breece Hall. If it goes okay, he has like a regular, normal kind of, we're hearing things in like August, okay, he's looking okay, then he's probably going to be more around the 4, 5, or 6 range. Just because we saw what happened with Barkley. Barkley returned and didn't have a very good first year back from his ACL recovery. You oftentimes battle compensation injuries, hamstring injuries. So it really will depend on the reports on Breece Hall and how quickly he comes along. But I could easily see him in this territory in redraft 2023 and in Dynasty for sure up in this top 4 overall. ETN, depending on his finish, will certainly be in this conversation here. I think in redraft 2023, this is where Eckler and CMC will probably fall. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you have 7 and 8. So your top 8 running backs for redraft 2023 are right here. The Dynasty version is going to look very different, but have a lot of the same faces because there's a changing of the guard. Everybody in this top 6 is a young player. So the changing of the guard is happening at the same time within the redraft rankings and the Dynasty rankings. So it's not going to be that much different in terms of who's in the top 6 for me, but the order of them could definitely be jostled around. And from a Dynasty perspective, it could be something along the lines of this. where it's like Walker, it's Breece Hall, it's Bijan Robinson, and then everybody else kind of below that. That is kind of the way I think it could end up shaking out for Dynasty. And it could even look something along these lines right here. Bijan number 1 in Dynasty, Kenneth Walker number 2, and Breece Hall number 3. I firmly believe these are the 3 future RBs, the top number 1 overall consideration type player for the coming years, the coming handful of years. I think ETN's going to be always in the 5 to 12 overall potential territory as long as he stays healthy. JT and Barkley will remind us a lot of the values that Nick Chubb has held over the years. Never number 1, but always in the top like 6 to 12. I think that's where JT and Barkley and ETN will all kind of linger. These guys will rank in the top 5 for a lot of people. That'll drive their ADP up, but a lot of people will be worried about their age and injury history. And again, 28 years is nothing to balk over. This is it. This is my 2023 running back ranking video, and this is my dynasty look at it right here, finishing out the video. I appreciate you all. Get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com for your year-round fantasy football content, bold predictions, trade calculator, year-round rankings, and one-on-one text advice. I appreciate every single one of you. I will see you all later, and I'm live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. I'm live whenever news breaks. I'm live Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at midnight. I'm live Sunday morning during a half hour before kickoff, and then I do the game recaps after. And sometimes I go live at midnight that Sunday. I don't know when do I not go live? When do I not go live? I'll see you all later, and get out of here.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.